Greetings, traveler. I am Akira, a representative of the Twilight Society and the curator of these tales. Today, we will embark on a journey which is My Hero Academia, Road to Power Part 3. As always, if you want to support the creator of these works, their Patreon and story link will be in the description. Now, without further ado, buckle up and enjoy the story.
Chapter 41, Cheating Allies, edited. I finished the book in around 6 minutes, fortunately obtaining 2 skills called Etiquette and Barista. Etiquette LV.1. A true man knows when to fight and when to talk. Movement and manner of speech are, skill level, % more refined. Barista LV.1. One of the ways to get a girl is tough her stomach. The process of making tea or coffee will speed up by, skill level, %. The higher the level, the better the drinks you make will taste, and at the highest levels, they will have medical effects. I turned towards Nizu and began speaking. Do you have a set for tea making? He didn't say anything and Aizawa moved from behind me heading towards another room. After returning, he had a set for tea making and a pack of dry leaves on a plate. He leaves it on one of the tables and returns to his original position in front of the door. Using the knowledge I had gained from the book, I start making cups of tea, each being made faster than the previous one. After 10 minutes I had raised the skill to level 10 while etiquette also rose to level 5, reducing the movements I needed to do, going from a total newbie to at least knowing what I was doing in less than an hour. You can stop. The boost was small, barely visible, but it was present. Every few seconds something changed in the way you moved, and the gap between the boosts grew exponentially, from a few seconds to every few minutes. So let's say I believe that your growth was made thanks to this quirk of yours. The mere existence of something like that is groundbreaking, completely changing the way quirks have worked until now. Remember, this is all an if, I told him. Of course, we are talking in the case you had a quirk, but now that you told us, what do you gain? I don't gain anything apart from not being seen as an enemy. Why would you assume we saw you as an enemy? If I had the quirk I talked about, apart from physical aspects, I can also boost mental ones, one being my perception, which would make me more sensitive to emotions, and what I felt inside this room when I entered can't be described as friendly. I am sorry for that. We had to be sure, and now that you arrived at this point only through your sheer will and training, I am more than happy to ask you if I can help you in any way. What do you mean by those words? You are a human being able to grow infinitely at a monstrous speed, with the ability to gain minor quirks whenever you can, and with the ability to become a jack of all trades, master of all. Something that would require years to master would only take months if not days. I would love to help you in your growth, he said with a tone that was a mix between friendly and scary. And what do you gain from helping me? Apart from one of the possibly strongest heroes to have ever existed on our side? The possibility of withstanding your growth personally and maximizing your actual potential. Let's say I accept. How would you explain the help you are giving me? I would simply take you as an apprentice. Your intelligence was already proven through the entrance exam, with you acing the written test. Do I accept? I can't feel any type of ill intentions coming from either of the three. I know the character from the anime and manga, and even though Nizu seems evil, he is one of the best backers that I could ask for, with an unlimited amount of money, teachings, books, and the possibility of training directly with heroes, without counting his seemingly unlimited amount of robots that I could use to train my skills and stats. Fuck it, I already died once. I am living on borrowed time, so why not? Let's say I accept. How do we proceed? First, I would need a full explanation of how your quirk works, and what you can do by yourself. In front of them? You can believe in them as much you believe in me. After taking a big breath, I explained some of the functions of the system as if they were normal aspects of my quirk: stats growth, skills growth, the sudden appearance of minor quirks, and nothing else for now. Explaining any more would break their vision of quirks more than it already has been. Truly scary, the way your powers have grown, and what you already accomplished only barely shows what you could grow to. But for now, you are free to go. I have to spend some time thinking of ways I can help you grow faster. I simply nodded, thinking that this outcome is actually the best, and apart from this, all other outcomes would either come out with my death or my imprisonment, so I can't complain. Nizu, this is... All Might tried to speak, but he was too stunned by the revelation. Incredible, he said after jumping from his seat in excitement. I would say scary, but I also have to say incredible. We are lucky he decided to be a hero. If by chance he decided to become a villain, he would have become unstoppable if given time to grow, Aizawa commented. But he isn't, and I will kill God before giving up on that kid. He is too interesting and with too much potential to be left alone. By how strong he currently is and could become, he might even be the perfect holder of the One for All. Misa commented. His body is truly remarkable, but his mindset isn't the one of a hero. All Might commented. Misa looked at All Might, trying to understand if he was joking or not. Until now Izuka had shown nothing more than willpower, self-sacrifice, and determination to do what was necessary. What does he want more than this? I saw how he fights. He looks more like a beast than a human. What would the outcome be if One for All falls in his hands? What if can't hold back? What if someone dies because I gave One for All to the wrong person? All Might thought, his grief from his predecessor dying, and his guilt from becoming less and less of a hero weighing on his shoulders. Only the future will now tell how much of a monster Izuka will grow to be. Chapter 42 Full Throttle. While heading towards the skeleton dungeon, I used the knowledge gained through etiquette to reduce the waste in my movements, giving them some sort of elegance and power. Previously I was only scared thanks to my size and scars, without counting active skills. But now, thanks to this new skills, I could express my emotions in the way I moved, thus boosting the effect of intimidating presence when active. All in all, a very good skill. I decided to save my gacha pulls. If I want to pull something actually good, only using 21 won't do me any good apart from the small possibility of gaining some attributes gemstones. But what I really need right now is a dungeon reward, and that is what I am going to obtain today. I finally reached the entrance, and after changing into my fighting attire, not the hero costume but the one I used for training, I also took out Arthur's crown, my steel shield, and one of the swords I had taken from my previous dives inside the dungeon. I am curious to see how better I am at using a sword with an actual edge. I get inside, and like usual the first thing that says hello to me is an arrow heading for my right eye. With one quick motion, I use my shield to block the arrow, then immediately use Stomp followed by a quick shoulder charge, pointing it at the skeleton group holding bows. Stomp's stunning effect activated, blocking almost half of the weaker enemies thanks to my inhuman strength, my inhuman agility, which was boosted by several skills, reaching monstrous levels, and the effect of the one-man army boosting my fighting capabilities. When I reached the area where the skeleton was, they had time to knock another arrow and all of them shot it towards me. I blocked most of them, but my shield wasn't a tower shield, so some tried to pierce my skin. Try is the keyword. As soon as they made contact with my skin, due to my endurance skills, their weak arms, blunt arrows, and other factors, I didn't feel anything. After I had finally reached them, I stored both my shield and sword and took out my halberd, sweeping all of the skeletons away in one quick motion, breaking their bones and killing more than half of them. More hordes of zombies, ghosts, and skeletons started heading towards me. Wanting to try out my new strength, I didn't activate rage, and instead started fueling the runes imprinted on my body, boosting my regen and defense. I also activated Holy Strike, causing a white flame to coat my halberd, mode of my guardian skills already active, ready to turn my body into a walking tank. While a horde of monsters started surrounding me, no fear could be seen on my face. I wasn't scared of pain. We had become friends, pals, and brothers. Pain, there is no victory, and I am more than ready to get through hell to win. Pain resistance has reached level 100. Pain resistance has evolved thanks to the presence of Avenger, Berserk, and Guardian. Pain resistance has evolved to Juggernaut. Juggernaut LV, Max. A massive inexorable force, campaign, movement, or object that crushes whatever is in its path. That is what you are, a machine-made man. Pain courses through your veins. You eat fear at breakfast. You stare at death and start courting her. Effect. Pain can no longer affect in any way your mind or body. Grants a massive boost towards fear resistance, lowering the chance of your charge from being stopped. Your body can't stop from using your full strength. By reaching level 100 in pain resistance, you have gained plus 10 in willpower. A sudden shift in my mind happened, and some type of strength that had been sealed until now was granted to me. So without wasting much time, I activate instantaneous movement, and started reaping and tearing whatever was in front of me. My muscles screamed for help because of the mere strength I was putting behind every hit. Every step I took heavier than the previous, but nothing could stop me, not even myself. A group of much bigger zombies and armor-covered skeletons tried to stop me. One of the skeletons came rushing with a great sword held up high and ready to slash me apart. I wasted no time and used my halberd to hit the hand of the skeleton, making the great sword fall from his hands. In one quick motion, I kicked the great sword towards the chest of the knight, breaking both armor and bones and pinning him on a nearby wall. A muscular zombie came rushing, trying to grab me. I stored my halberd and started a strength contest against the zombie. For a few seconds we remained to stand still, him surpassing me in strength and me surpassing him in endurance. But what I lacked in strength I compensated with intelligence. With one quick pull, I dislocated the arms of the zombie, next pushing making the dislocated bones pop out of the arm and pierce the head of the zombie. I immediately took out my shield, worn by my sixth sense skill, only to be hit by a red mass of fire as big as me. Magic, this means. I quickly threw I now burned to a crisp shield and took out my throwing spear. Right in front of me stands the monster that I had been waiting for. A long black cape, no clothes underneath it, a body made purely of obsidian bones, eyes filled with green flames, holding a black book in his hand and a weird dark brown crooked piece of wood with at the top a purple crystal ball. Everything screamed at me to run, most likely an effect caused by the aura of the lich, but my very high willpower and with the new massive boost in fear resistance, I won't escape. Today we fight or die trying. Chapter 43, Cracking Some Skulls. We stared at each other, him floating 3 meters above the grounding, me standing with my halberd in hand covered in white flames. My runes were visible to the naked eye now that they were active and I had stored my shirt to prevent further damage to it. Suddenly he began speaking, spouting nonsense, to me at least, as if he was a rapper. Not wanting to let him cast, I immediately activate instantaneous movement to appear below him. With one quick jump, I had reached and was just about to hit him with my halberd. He disappeared, only to reappear behind me, a ball of pure fire right above his scepter. Activating Stomp, I take advantage of its property to control my movement in the air and evade the fireball by a few millimeters. I quickly turned back towards him only to be welcomed by dozens of what I could define as magical circles right behind me and ready to burn me to a crisp. Just as I was about to activate instantaneous movement again, earth chains blocked both my arms and legs. Fuck. All of the fireballs head towards me, and not wanting to become a cooked rib I activate rage and all of its secondary effects, breaking the chains and letting only be hit by the explosion that came after they hit the ground. He moved his hand to shoot another wall of fireballs, but he had to teleport away after I threw him my throwing spear. Taking advantage of the time window I had created, I quickly opened up my tree window and by one of the skills from the guardian tree I had been wishing to get for quite a while, costing around 500 whooping tree points and emptying my pockets. Fall of the Angel LV.1. A guardian is a wall, but walls have height limits, so instead of getting taller, you make others smaller. By imposing your will on flying enemies you can incapacitate their flying ability, and consume stamina and mental energy. The stronger the enemies, the higher the cost of stamina and mental energy. Higher the level, the less it will cost. As soon as he appeared I immediately activate the skill, causing a white wing-shaped symbol to appear on my back, while a dark symbol appeared on the lich's back. The symbol had the shape of wings, but one was missing and the other had holes. He immediately fell to the ground while a migraine tried to confuse me, only to be stopped by the effect of Juggernaut. While a sadistic smile formed on my face I appeared right in front of the lich, who was too stunned to act, and gave me the chance to hit him. My halberd came crushing like a meteorite, further boosted by the active skill multi-strike. I hit him square in the chest, but what I felt wasn't the sensation of bones breaking, it felt like hitting a metal wall. Fucking defense magic. Even though I hadn't killed him, the hit had still dealt some damage, but not enough to incapacitate him, thus giving him the chance to teleport away. With one quick hand movement, dozens of undead popped out of the ground and started heading towards me. Thanks for the free heals. Using the life steal attached to my rage state I immediately started killing the army, which boosted my healing even further and stopped the pain I was feeling in my back. While my massacre was happening the lich started casting a quite long spiel. After I had finally killed all of the undead my sense began screaming. A sun was standing in front of me, its temperature being so high that my skin was starting to get cooked, while my blood was boiling. Dozens of earth chains pop out of the ground and block my movements, and even if I were to get free that would leave me not enough time to evade, so I had one last option. Pull. X7 weak attribute gemstones. X3 perk points. X1 class point. X3 Mars rocks. X6 pizza from Naples. X1 demon slayer sword. A smile spread on my face and in less than a second a rust-covered black greatsword appeared on my right hand, while my halberd stayed on my left. It weighed more than my whole hero costume, but I was still able to use it through the effect of rage and my ability to use my muscles to their full potential without caring about pain. As soon as the sword touched, the chains got pulverized, and instead of escaping the sun heading towards me, I dashed towards it. The Lich thought I was crazy, but when he saw his stronger spiel simply being cut in half by a normal-looking sword, he felt fear for the first time in this whole fight. I appeared right in front of the Lich, it being unable to move or even cast another spell, letting me pierce his skull with my new sword, thus finally ending this whole fight and dungeon. Reward 110 random gacha tickets, 1 attribute gemstone. Reward 2, 5 rare random gacha tickets, higher chance of something good, 5 attribute gemstone. Bonus reward, 1 ultra rare gacha ticket. Ah. A mad laugh came out of my mouth. I had just escaped the nearest I had gotten to dying, and I was even rewarded for it. Having a system is truly a fun thing. Now, finally having the opportunity, one decided to take a look at the status of the Demon Slayer Sword. Demon Slayer Sword. A sword made to slay demons, but now used to slay without limits. Thanks to its entitlements, it has the ability to either cut or repel any type of magic while also removing mind magic by hitting something with the hilt of the sword. When used to cut something normal, it will only work as a blunt sword. Can be restored to its original state. Now, will it work against quirks? Should it? Chapter 44. Are you ready to rumble? 1 week. I had 1 week to prepare as much as I could for USJ, remembering every day to all might about the day, training like a madman, searching for dungeons with my map function only to see the nearest one in another city 3 days away from here, picking up books with the help of Nizu, training with heroes for first-hand experience, Mirko being the most useful one for my barehanded training. But it wasn't enough. Against a beast made to kill all might, nothing I could do would be enough. But I would prefer dying than flee. Wanting to be in top shape for the surely incoming emergency quest, I used all my attribute gemstones, and milked as much as I could from the training quest. Trough gemstones I gained. Plus 32 agi. Plus 32 will, in human willpower perk bought. Plus 20 end. Plus 11 wis. In the meanwhile, by completing the repeatable quests, I was able to gain plus 40 STR, base of 5 plus training with 50 kilograms weights on body. Plus 20 agi. Plus 20 dex, in human dexterity perk bought. Plus 40 end. Now, comparing me to a normal human would be an insult. Comparing me to a Noma? Yes. My only hope of surviving, not actually killing it, are all of my damage reductions, perks, and skills, and my current 188 endurance. I am quite sure that with only 140 strength I won't be able to deal enough damage in enough time to actually kill it. But I don't fight with fists, only. What are you thinking, Midoriya * ribbit? A wild Tsuyu said from the seat behind mine. I turned around just realizing that the day had arrived, and like my nightmares had warned me, All Might was nowhere to be seen. Nothing much, just having a bad hunch about this whole USJ deal, I said while holding back my worries from being shown. Then we are all going to die, Mina said, rolling her eyes to the back of her head and faking being a zombie. Why do you say so? Kurishima asked on the seat next to me on the bus. The last time Izuku had a bad hunch, he fought 5 villains by himself. The attack at the supermarket? It was you the one that helped the heroes? Achiko asked from the seat in front of us. Helped? Izuku carried them, and by the time they had arrived he dealt with all of them by himself, Mina said with anger at the memory of how the heroes had stolen Izuku's heroism. Come on guys, it's no biggie. I am sure I simply did something bad this morning, I said, trying to change the subject. The guy who tanked an explosion to his face has a stomach ache? Come here, let me kiss your pain away, Mina said while pushing her lips and moving towards me. Fuck off, I said while karate chopping her head. Hey, that hurt, she said with crocodile tears. Continuing our chat for another 30 minutes, we finally arrived at the USJ. Everything went like in the anime. 13 appeared, Achiko fangirled. We approached the center of the USJ, and a portal appeared. Emergency quest. Be the hero. Goal 1. Don't let any of your allies die. Goal 2. Defeat as many villains as you can. Bonus goal. Defeat Nomu. Reward 1. Random class skill unlock. Reward 2. Depends on how many you defeat. Bonus reward. Ultra rare gacha token, plus 10 perk points, plus 1 class points. Without wasting a second, I dashed at the front of the group and moved my eyes towards Aizawa, him doing the same. What are you doing? Aizawa asked with an imposing tone. If you think you will take this horde by yourself, you should go see a psychologist. We will discuss this. I take the right, you take the left. After all of the villains had gotten out, the 3 main antagonists appeared, Nomu, Shigaraki, and Kurojirai. Hello heroes and small heroes, We are the League of Villains, and we are here to kill All Might. Where is he? Why isn't he here? Kurogyri! Shigaraki started his speech with a cool tone, slowly degenerating at the relaxation of a missing piece. He must be late, but I am sure he will come faster if his apprentices are in danger. At those words, we got into action. Faster way to deal with Kurogyri? Hey, bitch! I shouted while taking out a cone from my Batby belt. Here is a little present, I said while removing the pin and throwing it at his face. What was the thing I had just thrown? A flashbang. Relaxing my action, Aizawa and 13 closed their eyes, the ones being affected the most by the flashbang being the villains and mostly Kurogyri since it exploded right in his face. Opening my eyes, I activated all my boosting skills and changed the shape of my weapon to a spear. It was no time to hold back. Against my schoolmates, I could go serious and not hold back, but I couldn't do the thing I am the best at, kill. Within a second I was already in front of a lizard-looking villain. Due to the effect of the flashbang, I was easily able to pierce his stomach and open a big wound by moving my spear to the side, tearing the stomach of the lizard open. I am sorry, villains, you came here in the hope to find a hero, but what you will find is a monster, I said while activating both imposing and intimidating presence. And like a switch, the whole aura around me changed, from a knight in shining armor, to a monster ready to eat the whole. The only ones not affected by the aura were the allies, only feeling a small pressure but none of the horrors the villain was feeling. Aizawa attached one of the bigger villains with his scarf, and used him to pull himself towards me and kick a villain in the face. I turned towards Aizawa with my usual fighting smile and I asked him, "Are we ready to rumble?" Chapter 45. It's time to chew ass and kick gums. Few seconds. All it took was a few seconds. Missing limbs, failing organs, broken bones, you name it, I had caused it in just a few seconds. But as much as I wanted to continue the massacre, the effect of the flashbang had stopped, and from a massacre we moved to a fight. The first thing that happened as soon as they regained their vision and hearing? Some dude decided to turn me into a cooked chicken, throwing a wall of flames towards me. Not wanting my hair burnt, I activated the helmet of my costume, which looks like the plate helmet from Skyrim. My body began sweating, and if I didn't do anything I would be cooked to a crisp. Activating stomp and instantaneous movement in quick succession, I appeared in front of the dude and kicked him on his maw, making it fly towards the lake. Kurogyri, what the fuck is that? Shigaraki asked the smoky guy while scratching his neck in exasperation. From the files we received, he is Izuku Midoriya quirkless, placed first on the entrance exam. How can you call that monster quirkless? He said while pointing at my figure, breaking the arm of a mutant quirk user with my knee. That's what his file says, but don't worry, I know how to deal with him. And just like that, Kurogyri disappeared. My sixth sense warned, and in one fluid motion, I evaded the hand trying to grab me and instead kicked the collar of the man. Seems like you aren't an easy target, Kurogyri said while disappearing and reappearing on his feet in front of me. But what about your friend? He said while disappearing. I knew this bitch would do this. Kurogyri appeared behind the 1A and was about to spread his smoke, but he missed one single detail. The absolute machine of death I was holding pointing at his collar. Asterisk bang. His collar could take one of my kicks, but can it take a modified Desert Eagle bullet? He disappeared and the bullet hit the wall of the USJ, creating quite a big hole. Didn't think so. Ida rushed to the exit and call for help. Those who can fight to help Aizawa. Those who can't fight directly, stay on the sidelines and only help when necessary. I shouted towards 1A, a group of frozen people, and the last thing I need now, what I need is a force that can help us dispatch the small fries. But then it came, the feeling of pure dread coursing through my whole body shouted at me to move, run, to fucking do something. My brain moved much faster than ever before, adrenaline making it go at lightning speed. I knew what was coming, and I knew that if I didn't block it, it would hit Aizawa, and while I could maybe survive, Aizawa surely couldn't. So while changing my weapon back to a sword and shield, I spun my body towards the incoming enormous fist. And then it hit. Asterisk boom. Ahaha, that's what you deserve, fucking cheater, get shit on you dash. Shigaraki's shit-talking got suddenly interrupted by the scene presented in front of him. Actually, everyone stopped moving, the scene in front of them defying what any normal human should be possible to do. Completely broken arms. My upper armor is completely gone, the shield is mostly broken, and my feet are 2 inches under the ground. But this wasn't the most shocking part. What came next is... As if nothing had happened, thank you Juggernaut, I removed my feet from the ground, threw away my shield, only leaving the big longsword in my right hand, and walked towards the Noma. I knew my body, and as much as injured I could look, I was far from dead. The Noma, not receiving any other order, gave me the opportunity to climb on his back and pierce his exposed brain with my sword, continuously activating multi-strike and holy strike while piercing its brain. It could regenerate, but can it regenerate faster than I can burn his brain? Noma, get rid of him! Shigaraki shouted. It tried to grab my arms, but its brain being fried made its moves sluggish and slow, so it did the first thing that came to mind. Bash its head against the nearest wall. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. It went on and on, my body becoming more and more injured and sickening to look at, while the brain of the gnome was slowly turned from its previous pink color to a light brown one. After who knows how long it fell on its knees, his brain far too gone to do anything but still alive. Removing my sword from its brain, I dropped to the ground, and with my now healing arms I rose the sword above my head. And it came down. I had done it. I had killed the gnome. Shigaraki's inability to control him, my pure endurance, all of my skills and perks absorbing damage, all of these factors had severely helped to kill him. But I had surpassed the first big obstacle in my survival in this world. Slowly turning towards the remaining villains, I didn't waste time removing the blood from my eyes. The feeling of discomfort of having my eyes filled with debris and blood being surpassed by my pure and unfiltered rage. I slowly walked towards the group, each step I took being powered by stomp just to make them shit themselves while also being stunned. I threw the sword away. For what is coming I won't need it. I ignored the escaping Shigaraki and Kurojiri. I knew I will see them sooner than I wish, but for now, I will be happy enough with the remaining villains. A sickening smile formed on my face, maybe because it was too big, maybe because I wasn't supposed to be smiling after killing what was supposed to be an all-might killing machine, or maybe because my teeth, which resembled fangs more than human teeth, were covered in blood, but I was still smiling. Who is ready for some fun? Chapter 46 Outcome of the Battle. I had done it. I had survived USJ. And oh, I conquered it. I had killed the gnome. I defeat all of the villains. None of my classmates died. Aizawa didn't get hurt. 13 didn't nearly die. I had done everything to save them, and the only thing it cost me was the complete destruction of nearly all of my bones. 87% of my muscles were bleeding, and some organs got nearly pierced by the broken bones. But it was fine. I got out of worse situations. These weren't injuries I couldn't heal and grow stronger from. Then why are they looking at me like that? You are the absolute epitome of stupidity, Aizawa said while piercing my body with his gaze. More like I know what I'm capable of, I said while putting my arms back in their supposed place. You fought against something made to kill All Might. You are strong, I recognize that. But how were you so sure you would have survived? I wasn't. Any hero puts there every single time they wear their costume. I am a hero, so I placed my life in danger knowing that I might have survived. Might isn't something a hero I in training should live with. See it how you wish. I recognize that what I did can be seen as the most stupid shit anyone can do from your eyes. But from eyes I knew that if I didn't do something either you or my classmates could have died, so I acted. Before Aizawa could retort again, our discussion got interrupted by the ceiling breaking and a mass of muscles dropping from the sky. The man hero landed and immediately got back up to say his catchphrase with a smile. I am H-. You are late, I said while removing the broken metal shards in my torso by flexing all of them. All Might looked around at the horrendous scene surrounding both me and Aizawa. Villains either had been knocked out with some broken bones, or they had some missing body parts, holes in their bodies, or simply crushed limbs. What happened? All Might asked with a serious tone. Not wanting to get the scolding I was quite sure All Might give me, I decided to head towards 1A to be sure everyone was safe. Walking towards me, I tried to look as presentable as a bloodied Goliath could look, removing the blood from my face and hands, not being able to do much to the injuries and blood on my body since they were healing. When I reached the group, I recognized most of the stares pointed at me. Fear, disgust, awe, anger, and some others. I knew this would happen, and I knew most wouldn't accept my ways to handle things. But you know what? Who cares? I got here by myself, and I will continue by myself if other people can't handle what I do for them. I do what I think is right, and if someone thinks I am wrong, I am ready to protect my ideas. I took a big breath while closing my eyes and ready to walk away. But just as soon as I opened my eyes, I received a kick to my leg. Asterisk ouch. Get your ass down to my level, bitch. And in pain Mina shouted. Getting one knee off, I almost reached her face, still being a little taller than her. I swear to God, the next time you pull a one-man army like that, I will seriously kick your ass. If I had a penny for the times you nearly killed yourself, I'd have 2 pennies, which isn't much, but for fuck's sake it happened twice. Do I have TOTLINKO? She went on and on about how stupid I was, which made me smile. Seeing someone act natural made me relax a bit. After seeing me smile, she stopped talking, sighed, and then went for a hug. I am happy you are okay. Seeing my interaction with Mina, some other classmates decided to approach us. Izuku, you were so cool, slashing and parrying hundreds of enemies by yourself, so manly. Are you okay, Izuku? Do you need any help moving? I can use my quirk. No wait, you weigh too much, maybe your clothes? I am happy to see you fine *Karo. I am happy to see your well-being, Midoriya. Seeing them ask questions about my well-being made me smile even more, which, unlike the previously distorted creepy smile during the battle, this one was much more warm and charming. Thanks you all, I am fine and able to move on my own. I am happy to hear that because we have some things to discuss. A pissed All Might and a tired Aizawa said from behind me. And finally, all the other heroes also arrived. Master, what the hell was that? It killed the Nomu, the being able to regenerate missing limbs, and to hit like a moving truck. I am aware of that, and this new addition changes some steps in my plan, but the outcome stays the same. While he is outstanding, he is a single human being. As durable as he might look, he will crumble. I will make sure he will. Chapter 47 Aftermath. Why did you do this? A very pissed off All Might asked. Actually, it was more accurate to say that he was more worried than angry. But he was mostly showing anger, most likely to teach me a lesson or some bullshit along those lines. I saved my classroom, helped 2 heroes in a very hard situation, and dispatched a group of villains. I told him with a calm tone. Most of the people behind me were surprised by the calmness in my voice. I was talking to the number 1 hero after all. I understand that, but why kill them? You could have simply immobilized them. I know you are easily able to do that. Here is something I discovered in this world. This isn't a fucking anime. If a villain is defeated, he won't just stop fighting and get arrested. He will fight to his or her death most of the time. And an animal is most dangerous when they are near death. Because I didn't want to take any possibility of one of them slipping past me and hurting someone I couldn't protect, they put themselves in this situation. I killed them because they were trying to kill me. I don't have cool powers to freeze people, to burn their arms and legs and not make them move, to make them float away. I only have these hands, and be sure I will use them well, also dash. I didn't finish and moved towards one of the bodies in the center of the USJ. All Might wanted to stop me, but Aizawa blocked him, and hinting him to let me do what I wanted. Lying on the ground is a man. Unlike all the others near him, none of the blood covering or near him was his, the only injuries of his body being broken arms and legs. I activated an intimidating presence and awoke the man from his slumber. The man bolted up, or at least tried to before realizing the state he was in, causing a scream to come out of his mouth. Suddenly a hand grabbed his neck and pulled him from the ground. Now I can make this very painful, or very relaxing, it's your choice, I said with a friendly tone and a smile. But to the man, those words didn't come out of a 17-year-old boy, but from death itself knocking on his door. What do you want? He asked in a crooked tone, trying to ignore the pain and make this as short as possible. Who were those guys commanding you? I can dash. Before he could finish, I grabbed his already broken arm and put a small pressure on it. Think your next words very carefully, there won't be a second chance, I said with an even bigger smile on my face. Oh shit, he pissed himself. Our League of Villains, that's their name. The creepy guy is named Shigaraki and the smooky man is named Kurojairi. They wanted to kill All Might. I don't know anything else, please just let me go, he said and then began crying. Maybe I exaggerated? Nah. I headed him and made him fall unconscious, turning again towards All Might. See? I didn't kill everyone. That doesn't make me feel better in any way. Listen, I am very tired and I would just like to go to get some sleep. Can we talk about this another time? I don't look like it, but several of my bones are still broken, I said while pointing at my purple arms. All Might was about to show his worry, only now noticing the actual damage my body had sustained, but was stopped by Aizawa. You may take some rest, Midoriya. We will take care of the rest. Thank you very much, I said while walking again towards Mina, who was waiting for me to shout at me some more. Next day. That hit the spot, I said while coming out of the shower but naked. I was about to wear some clothes when my phone began ringing. Picking it up, I noticed an unsaved number. My mind went into paranoia mode, thinking of a possible villain getting my number, but I toned it down for the moment and simply answered the call. Yes? Midoriya? A familiar feminine voice asked. Momo? Yes, it's me. How have you got my number? Wait, Mina. Mina. Remember to tell her to ask me before giving people my number. Too late, I fear. Most of Class 1A already has it. Asterisk sigh, why have you called? Do you still remember my request? I had honestly completely forgotten about it, but let's not let her know about it. Yeah, why? I am outside your house. If you want, we can train right now. You got my house address from Mina, right? Yes, she is here with me. There also is Uraraka and Tsuyu. Before I could say anything else, someone knocked on the door of the bathroom. Come on, Izuku, come out, or do I have to help change? Fuck you, Mina, I said to her. I am coming out, I said to Momo. Asterisk sigh, Ferb, I know what I will be doing today. Chapter 48. Okay, maybe I took it too far. See, can we get a little rest? A barely breathing Mina asked while holding her knees and breathing through her mouth. Turning towards four barely standing girls, each taking the run in different ways, Momo tried to remain as composed as she could while panting. Mina was already on the ground, stomach up, breathing with her mouth. Uraraka was the most normal one, acting like a normal tired girl. Tsuyu actually was the least tired one, her legs and stamina being strengthened thanks to her quirk, but she still was visibly tired. Oh come on, we have been running for only 2 hours, I said with a smile, knowing that these words weren't normal. At full sprint, Mina said. It's not my fault you are slow, I said with a smile. Fine, rest for 30 minutes, we will then move to the actual training. Momo's eyes sparkled when she heard my words. While waiting for them, I finally decide to use the ultra rare and 5 rare gacha tickets. The other normal tickets will be used later on. Unlike normal, 5 diamond and 1 rainbow colored slot machine appeared in front of me. They began spinning and after 5 seconds they stopped. And oh damn if I had struck gold. Rare. Berserker armor. At an unknown point in time, the Berserker armor was forged by the dwarf blacksmith Hanner, who imbued it with an ominous OD that aligns with its wearer, who is driven by violent emotions and forgets about pain and fear. Effects: boosted street, agi and dex, instant bone reconstruction, instant wound closure. Downsides: possibility to get controlled by fury, stopped by will, cold die if wounds add up onto each other. Function: stat unlock. By completing certain actions you can unlock specific stats that will help in the area they concur. These stats can only be raised by training. New perk: right on track. Whenever you wish you can choose any song to be played in the background and anyone hearing it will think nothing of it. Depending on the song, various effects might happen. Mission ticket: easy, game world, asterisk suggestion? A portal will be opened leading to a random game world where you will be given a mission to complete. The difficulty of the world and mission is stated on the name of the ticket. Infinite healing cigarettes. While smoking one of the cigarettes, your body will heal from any form of exhaustion and injuries will heal 50% faster, can only be used out of battle. Ultra rare. Class: Edge Runner. You are surely known for your brown, but they hire you for your brain. Using your hacking ability you are to get wherever you want and nothing can stop you. Effects: all computer-related skills grow 3 times faster, and grows 3 times faster. I had to stop myself from straight up wearing the Berserker armor and search for the nearest dungeon. Seeing your friend wearing a medieval black spiky armor out of nowhere can be spooky. So instead I opened the tree for the Edge Runner class and was surprised by the number of skills in it, most of them being the virus that you could craft in Cyberpunk 2077 and others that were created by the system itself and other small perks mostly related to guns. But the first skills that I could buy are Computer Personification LV.max, 300 TP. An Edge Runner can't always go around with a computer, so he becomes the computer. You will able to access a different area of your mind where you can use a computer as if it was a normal one. The quality of it depends on it. Ping LV.1. By using the cameras in the area you are able to pinpoint the nearest enemies. The range of the pinging, duration, and speed depends on the level of the skill itself and on the hacking skill. Another thing I will have to experiment and study. Luckily I have a book regarding computers and hacking that I had decided to read. Finally free from all the notifications, I started playing around with the new skills, seeing how easy it would have been to watch porn while being with the girls and no one knowing made me chuckle. The quality of the computer was comparable to a normal 2021. Nothing compared to the current ones, but still pretty good. I will have to spend some time training my int. After 30 minutes I had fun playing POG games and the girls finally got back on their feet ready to train again. Perfect, now since most of you fight close quarters I start with Momo so that I can then train the rest of you all at once. They nodded and I headed towards the nearest tree to pick a stick from the ground, then turned towards Momo. Pick your weapon. That is a stick, Midoriya. Wouldn't the fight be on my side since I can create weapons? A smirk appeared on my face, and using the stick in my hand I created 5 inches wide 15 inches deep hole in the tree on my side. The shock on the girl's face was quite enjoyable. Anything used with enough skill can become a weapon, anything. And considering how I had once used my broken arm to impale a zombie, I know what I am talking about. She breathed in and then created a long iron spear, taking a pose and pointing the spearhead towards the ground. Good, now come at me. And with those words she dashed. Chapter 49. It was finally the day. I had been training these past few days just for this, and I am more than ready to crash everyone. Hello listeners, welcome to the UA Sports Festival. As if awakened by those words, a thundering came from all around us, voices from men, women, non-binary, just to be sure, and heroes all filled our ears, thirsting for blood, or for a good fight. I looked at the girls I had been training for the past days. I can quite say they are at least 80% stronger than what they were in their canon history counterparts. I can say I am pretty proud of myself if I can say so. The one who had advanced the most was Momo. I had been teaching her all I knew about science, in general, to help her with her quirk usage and helped her train her fighting skills, which rewarded me with the teaching skill. Not very useful, but I can teach things easier now, not much else. And the reward? Money. Like big-ass lustrous, absolutely fabulous, glittering, mouth-watering money. We are talking above the 7 zeros. Like damn, I knew she was rich. But just handing me money for something like that. Returning back to my current situation, like in the anime, Todoroki had deemed it necessary to tell me he would have crushed me with only his eyes side, and all about his sad backstory. And like the good Izuku I am, I answered accordingly. Are you stupid or is half of your brain frozen? He was stunned for a second. But in the next second some eyes had started forming around him, most likely an unconscious usage of his quirk fueled by his anger. What? He asked with an ice-cold tone. Get it? He has an ice quirk, anyway. Because that's the only reason you would connect your quirk to your asshole of a father. You are you and he is him. You have your cool-ass quirk and he has his not exactly too of a hero quirk. Like come on, you can stop your fire with your ice. You have both for a fucking reason. Your body can't keep up only with the cold after all. While your father only destroy. You don't know anything. Would you use your fire quirk if it meant saving someone? He didn't answer. If an ice villain is about to kill every single human on Earth, and you are the only one able to stop him, would you use it? Or would you decide to just keep up with the ice? Would you destroy all of humanity just for petty revenge? You don't know anything. This time his emotions were starting to appear in his voice too, and his body starting to show emotions for the first time since I had seen him. I don't know anything? You are talking to the dude who broke his body beyond recognition just to keep up with broke-ass quirks like yours. And here you are, saying asterisk I won't use my father quirk cause he is bad asterisk, fuck off. I walked away shoving his shoulder. I know, not very hero-like and all that bullshit, but I am not Izuku, he isn't 15 like in the anime. And I don't have to deal with trauma. So he either grows up from his stupid ideology or stays behind. But while Todoroki remained silent and didn't follow me, another guy did. I know who he is, he doesn't know I know, and I know how to fuck him up. Kid. Yes? How can I help you, Endeavor? I wanted to thank you for trying to make sure to use his fire said. He has been stubborn since the day he got into UA and I dash. I immediately stopped him from talking. The mere thought of his thanking me for helping him accomplish his dream made me want to puke. He has had 17 years to change. I don't care that he does in the anime, here he didn't, and I won't let it slide. I activate all my aura-centered skills while engraving my soul the rune for fear on my chest. Listen you piece of flaming hot shit, I don't care who you think you are. I don't care if you are made and try to burn me. I don't even care if you are actually able to kill me. Due to the unexpected change of manner, he was stunned and let me grab his throat and bring him, eye to eye level. Dare to associate yourself with me ever again and I will make your body burn from the inside. I don't care how resistant you are. I will tear your heart from your chest and make you eat it. Do I make myself clear? I didn't wait for an answer and simply moved away from him, deactivating all my auras and removing the rune. I expected a comeback or any type of answer from the supposed number .2 hero, but nothing. He stayed there, too stunned to speak or even try to react. Even his breathing was too rugged to be called normal. I guess my skill set has already reached an acceptable level for this world. The only current being that would be able to fare against me in 1 versus 1 fight is All Might at the start of his buff form. 9 if he even exists. Overhaul. Read Destro and All for 1. That is all without counting possible quirk power-ups and stupid power rises because of the plot. Unless I discover something to seriously make me able to overpower them, my easiest way to fight them is 1 for all. Any other villain I forgot with mentioning? I continue thinking of ways to fight them, thinking it might be time to start creating my own equipment, and use the Edgerunner class to its full potential. Actually, Cyberpunk would be a cool world to go to, mostly because of the technology one could gain from it. What do you all think? After waiting for 30 minutes, it finally arrived, the first challenge of the sport festival, the course race. Start. In that split second of hesitation, few were able to start, Bakugo immediately exploding himself off the ground, Todoroki freezing everyone on the ground and creating himself a path to move forward, and Ida with his machine-like speed. But I wasn't behind, I right in front of them. Using 3 quick I.M.S, instantaneous movement, I had already reached the first stage of the course, the robot area. Without hesitation, I didn't stop, and in case any of the 0-pointers tried to hit, I quickly answered with a Runin Force multi-strike plus Avenging Strike. Each time, the part of the robot that got hit always was destroyed. Unfortunately, because of this, I was surpassed by Todoroki and Bakugo, who were able to freeze and surpass the robots. Oh, you want to play like this? Fine by me. I activated Rage, fueling my strength with runes, who covered the body under the cloths with tattoos, and started using computer personification to make the robots target the 2 other brats. From my previous controlled and perfect running form, I turned into a beast, running in all 4 while simply tearing apart any robot who was able to get out of my control to try and hit me. I was forcing my way through, and thanks to the 2 kids having been slowed down, I once again got first place. The second obstacle is the pit. Mike explained the rules, but this was the easiest part of the course for me, using IM to jump from landing area to landing area until I was able to reach the other side, leaving the other 2 to the dust. Don't let me even start in the mine area. I could have used my senses to pinpoint the location of the mines, but it would have taken too much time, so I simply outrun the explosions. Quite easy considering the mines were weak to prevent any kid from dying. Using everything they had, Todoroki and Bakugo were able to almost reach me. Almost is the key word. Izuku Midoriya has won. I got first place, and I won't lose it. Chapter 50. While waiting for the start of the next activity, I decided to take a look at the possible skills I could buy with my current tree points and stats, ignoring the approaching steps. I can currently fight flying enemies by bringing them down, fast enemies by stunning them, and strong-based enemies by tanking their hits and hitting harder, but I have nothing against long-ranged and endurance-based enemies. Currently the ones I am most worried about are endurance ones. Long range can be overcome quite easily if I can close the range or if I can sum most hits. But if I can encounter someone with a build similar to mine My train of thought was interrupted by someone hugging my head and placing 2 soft substances on it. You know you were mumbling? Mina said while playing with my hair. I was. Yeah, but you were speaking so fast that unless someone is able to think as fast as you, or they wouldn't be able to even understand a word. At least this way I won't have to be worried about someone eavesdropping. But I need stop from doing it. I still have some of Izuku's bad habits. So, why are you here? I asked while finally turning towards her. What? Can I come say hi to the one who made me able to place in the top 15? I only trained you, something that you could have done by yourself. Yeah, but it would have been boring. I moved my eyes away from her, and while taking a final look at all my skill trees, I decide to buy a new skill. New skill, Martial Brawler 1-inch LV.1, 500 TP. 1-inch LV.1. Show off how cool you are by doing this. Approach the enemy at close range and transform, skill LVL. Percent of your damage to true damage, which can't be stopped by any normal means. Cast time, 5 seconds, -1 every 25 skill LVL. I am going to need to train it a bit to be able to use it in a real fight, and deal some damage. Oh look, they are announcing the next match. Looking up, I once again see the boner-inducing hero known as Midnight. Unlike her anime counterpart here, she was even more aggressive. Maybe because we were older than the canon timeline, but damn was she hot. My dear slaves, I was waiting to see you struggle on your next challenge. So here I am to make you all suffer," she said while whipping her whip. She seriously needed to train a bit harder on how to use it. She almost hit herself. Wood. The next challenge is one of cooperation and friendship. Cavalry battle. She had stopped to create some suspense, but she hadn't noticed that the words were already glowing on the big screen behind her, running her weighted entrance. "Wanna team up?" I asked Mina. "Sorry, already in a team with other guys. Also, I wanna steal your points, not add wood to the fire." Fair enough. It looks like the universe has its own canon points that can't be changed. But what would happen if I make someone unable to compete? Would I break the canon? Would I attract even more attention from the old ones? I was pulled away from world-ending ideas from Uraraka, Mei, and Tokoemi approaching me. "Let me guess, you want to team up with me?" "I don't think I'd team up with anyone else. I am more used to fighting with you than anyone else," Uraraka says. "You have the highest points, so it's the best way to show off my babies." Tokoemi and Uraraka turned towards her. "She means her gag guests, and this girl is Mei Hatsum." "How do you know my name?" I point at a big-ass screen showing off everyone's name. "Right," she says, this time a little embarrassed. "And you? I've never spoken to you. I am sorry about that. I just feel attracted to you." "Hold your fucking horses." This time, we all turned towards him, Uraraka fuming most likely at the thought of some yaoi shit, and Mei simply curious at those words. "Not in a physical way. Dark Shadow says you and him can be friends, and this is the first time he has ever said something like that, so I was curious." And my mind went full conspiracy mode. Was it because Dark Shadow was connected to the Shadow Realm, or some bullshit like that, and had come in contact with eldritch beings? Or because it had a connection to the Norse gods and recognized the scent of Fenrir from my body? I didn't show any emotions and simply nodded. "Okay, you can come with us, but after all of this I'd like to have a chat with Dark Shadow." Tokoemi nodded and Dark Shadow appeared from behind him, and nodded his head as well. "I guess that means we have our full team. As for our formation, are you ready?" Mike asked using both the microphone and his quirk. As an answer, screams came from all around the stadium. Then, "Let's start." And like I had suspected, all of the teams began rushing towards me. Well, actually, to Mei, who was currently at the top, Uraraka was behind, and Tokoemi was using Dark Shadow to cover one of our sides. "Get stunned, bitches," I thought while using Stomp, leaving Mei to Uraraka, who has used her quirk on her, and speed blitzing some headbands before the effective Stomp finished. I removed my headband, mixing it with all the headbands I had taken, and put them on my right arm and left arm bicep. "You want my points? Come and take it, bitch." Chapter 51. And as easy as it would be to just tear their limbs and puncture their hearts with it, I am not a monster, at least to normal people, and continued to evade or hit just with enough strength to make them faint whoever tried to get too close. Uraraka and Mei in the meanwhile were able to steal some of the headbands of those who had fainted or were unable to fight thanks to Tokoemi's help. The most annoying ones that were continuing to fight were Bakugo's group and Todoroki's, each having their own ways of attacking me: acid, speed punches, explosions, ice walls, fucking guns, fuck you Momo, I should have never taught you. Loaded with rubber bullets, not real ones. Just as another wave of attack was about to come, I decided it was time to show off. Viva la vida. The right on track perk activated, and while the music started filling my mind, for others watching something started. A feeling of pride had started emanating from my body, affecting whoever was watching to encourage me to fight and push past my limits. Viva la vida effect, indomitable human spirit. Indomitable human spirit. You represent the will of humanity to never give, you are the pride of all humans, your whole being is made of will and strength, and no one is able to stop you from fulfilling your dream. Effects: pain nullification, physical damage reduction, magical damage reduction, last standing, when at 1 HP, HP won't reduce for 10 seconds, pride embodiment, whoever watches will feel prideful of looking at you, human representation, are the embodiment of every human, making them easily like you. The attackers stopped to look at me, such a massive change of aura wasn't expected and one could foresee what was about to happen. Cracking my knuckles and removing my hair from my eyes, I should cut them, I flexed every single muscle in my body while taking a fighting pose, and did nothing. Why? The match has finished. Mike shouted from his microphone. I feigned surprise, which was easy thanks to my LV max acting. I deactivated right on track and deflated, faking disappointment. All of the people previously feeling the effect of IHS now were back to normal, but for them, I was still the perfect hero, stood fighting against an army of enemies while fighting alone. I think I am in love with this perk. The music of this world sucks, at least I can listen to some good music whenever I want to. Izuku, what was that? Uraraka said while rushing to me. Which part? Everything? Oh, nothing much, that was me simply showing off. By getting constantly attacked? Mei asked, wondering if I was a masochist. No, by showing I won't falter ever. You have a new stat thanks to your actions. Fighting spirit, upgraded through fights. Your body, mind, and soul were made for fighting, and who are you to stop from showing the world? Effects, gives a plus 1% boost to damage every point. For every person watching you fight you will receive another 1%. Secondary effect, your allies will feel more strength when near you, and your enemies feel weakened when near you. Finally, I speculated a stat like this, but I wasn't sure of the number of people watching needed to gain. Apparently a whole stadium was enough. We have calculated the points. The first place once again goes to Izuku Midoriya with 10.000.790 points. Now there is the fun part. But before that came something I didn't expect. Young Midoriya, I wish to talk with you, All Might said after entering the room I was resting in. I knew I was alone, so pointed at the other chair in the room. I will remain dash. Just as he was about to continue, smoke came out of his body, and from his buffed form he turned into a human who looked dead rather than alive. I guess I will sit down. I didn't show any surprise at his sudden transformation, making him question the nonchalance. I felt something wasn't right with you from the first time I ever met you. Your breathing wasn't normal, it felt unnatural, and you constantly smelt of some type of medicine, and considering how your appearances as a hero reduced by at least 80%, I guess something must have left a pretty nasty scar that weakened you. Sometimes you look too much like Niza. I take that as a compliment. It was, unlike me, you are both strong and have a good head on your shoulders, and from the show you have just put up I can with certainty say that you also have the spirit of a hero. Were the effective right on track that strong? As you know, I am currently the symbol of peace, the #1 hero, the one seen as the being with the strongest quirk, but I once was quirkless. A sad backstory later. So you want to give me one for all? Yes. I accept. Who the hell should I deny? With it, I could fight the enemies I was so scared of. While some might still put up a good fight, at least I could still have a chance. Refusing such a chance was nothing more than stupid. Perfect, then eat this, he said, plucking one of his hairs and doing his All Might face. I shrugged my shoulders at the comical event and ate the hair, having a lot of trouble since I had no water. You have come in contact with the quirk, one for all. 7 souls are present inside the quirk erase? Yes/no. I personally think I shouldn't, at least for now. One for all has been turned into a perk. One for all. You are able to transform your stamina into raw energy that is able to strengthen every aspect of your body. Current max output, 45%. This is thanks to his body strength. In the anime, Izuku was able to use it both thanks to his training and because his body had gotten used to it. Here, it is only thanks to his body. Effect, all physical stats x 4.5. Secondary effects, comma. It will take some time to get used to it dash. Before he could continue, my whole body got covered in green lighting while red lines spread along my face, arms, and legs. All Might sighed at the show and smiled. I think I gave it to the right person. You have no idea. Chapter 52. Having one for all feels strange, going from having powers that weren't fueled by my physique to suddenly having a power that converts energy to amplify my strength to monstrous levels. I also discovered why I wasn't already able to use its max capacity. My body hadn't got used to it. My muscles and bones need time to get used to this energy now present inside of me, because if it had only been a physical aspect I could already be able to use its max power and amplify my stats by 10 times, just. Thinking about doing something like that fills me with anticipation and excitement. After I had All Might leave me alone, using feeling tired as an excuse, I started meditating. The meditation had a secondary effect that I had not forgotten about. It could let me get inside my soul. Opening my eyes, I see 2 very distinct lights, one looking like an enormous green fire ready to burn everything in the whole universe, and the other object was a simple room, with 7 beings and a fire-looking being sitting on stone chairs. When they felt my presence they all turned towards me, and I recognized all of them. The 8 users of One for All. How do you know this? I am quite sure All Might isn't stupid enough to say things like that the first time he gives One for All. The first user, the brother of All for One, Yoichi Shigaraki says with a calm voice. Oh, I know a lot of things. I know I could consume you all with just my soul and get all of your quirks and memories. As those words came out of my mouth, I saw the faces of 7 hardened, readying to fight, not even realizing they couldn't move because of the pressure put on them by my soul. But I won't. I have been feeling alone for quite some time, and having someone to talk to after all this time feels kind of refreshing. What do you mean? I could explain, but since it will take some time, I will just show you. Using my control of my soul, I created some images that represented what I had in the past month, telling them who I am and what I can do. Why am I doing all of this? Why not? They can't control me thanks to my soul being twice the size of a normal human and my fine control over it, and they can't access my memories or have control over my thoughts thanks to my inhuman willpower. So why the hell should I give up on 7 beings that have more experience fighting and using one for all? So yeah, that sums it up. 7 mental breakdowns later, they regained their composure, and Yoichi was the first to speak. I guess at least that means there won't be a 10th user and all for one will finally be stopped. As long that happens, I won't care about anything else. I think I speak for everyone when I say that we are all of the thought as him. All Might Mentor, the 7th user, Nana Shimura, says with a smile. Everyone nodded, some still needing some time to digest the load of information I told them. Perfect. Before anyone asks, I show you my life and let you speak through my mind, unless something personal happens, you know what I mean. Just as I was about to get out, I remembered something important. When will I be able to use one of your quirks? Your body has to get used to all for one first when you are able to use 2 dash. I can already use 45%. A bald man started laughing at my answers, holding his stomach and rolling on the ground. We really got a fine user this time. Hey kid, use my quirk first. The 5th user, Daigoro Banjo, said after getting on one knee. The possibility of moving around like Spider-Man thrilled me. Fine by me. I will let the others think about when they give me control over their quirks. I don't want to impose my control over it because I wouldn't have a teacher to explain how it works if I do. I said this to imply that I could forcefully get control over their quirk if I wished, so soon or later they will have to surrender. Reopening my eyes, I once again was inside the room I was left in, feeling a new sensation coursing through my body. Secondary effective 1 for all unlocked, Black Whip. Black Whip. You are able to make energy tendrils come out of your body. The tendrils' strength, flexibility, speed, and creation time depend on physical stats and willpower. Fueled by emotions, it can grow stronger. If emotions overwhelm the host, the tendril may go out of control. Current control, 13.9%, pure thanks to willpower. Willing for it to come off my nails, I created 5 small black tendrils. They emanated a green glow that covered them and made them visible to the naked eye. Trying something, I pierced the roof with the tendrils and pull a Spider-Man move by standing upside down. I hear footsteps, so I deactivate the quirk and get down on the chair to act as if I was sleeping. The door opens and I smelt Mina's scent getting near me. Too near. I open my eyes to see Mina closely looking at me. She sees I am awake but doesn't move away. What are you doing? You know you look cute when you sleep. If it hadn't been for my willpower, I would have felt kind of embraced by the sudden compliment. She continued getting nearer, her eyes looking like black holes ready to suck me in, her usual alcohol scent feeling nicer than usual, her lips looking like the softest thing in the world. And just as we were about to, the door opened. Hey Izuku, they are Cal Dash. Uraraka, come inside. She sees Mina sitting on top of my legs, too far to be considered and hugged, and too close to not be considered as something else. I will leave alone, she says, shutting the door. Getting back to reality, I sigh and place Mina on the ground. Listen, I would love to, but I don't think it will work. I dash. She was about to say something, but I stopped her. I know, believe me, I know, but something will come up that will change my life, and maybe everyone's life. So before that happens, I must warn you. If you will feel the same way after that happens, I will be the first one to search you, but until then. I don't finish the phrase and head out, leaving a stunned Mina on the verge of crying. I am an asshole. Chapter 53. Why did you leave her like that? Nana asks. Looks like they already know how to talk to me. First, I have one for all, which literally means that I am a single person with the job to save everyone. If someone got hurt because they discovered they are attached to me, I would feel guilty. Second, if I actually have to go from world to world, I don't want to make people love me and oblige them to leave their home world behind. She has a family and friends here. I have Inko here. But I can't let people hold me back. I don't need more weight. The weight that mentality will put on your shoulders will slowly crush you, she says with a painful tone. I know, I just need to be strong enough to lift it. Taking a big breath, I arrive at the arena that had been built during the wait by Cementos. I hope won't need to make his job too hard. Getting on top of the arena, I look towards my opponent with a neutral face. Hitoshi Shinso is one of the few people who don't deserve to be out of the hero course. His powers could be so useful in so many situations. I would love to have such a quirk. It would make a lot of things easier. The first match officially starts. I slowly start walking towards him, each step sounding heavier than the previous. Are you sure you can be called a hero? Yes. Leave the arena. I felt the energy of the quirk seeping inside my mind and muscles ordering me to obey. But I had other plans. Asterisk crack. Following the example of the anime, I broke one of my fingers. His quirk had put an order, but it wasn't specific enough to take full control over my body. Ignoring the now broken finger, I continued my walk towards Hitoshi. For outsiders, nothing had happened. The lag between my steps had only lasted less than a second, and few people had actually heard the sound of the broken finger. But the one who did was scared and had lost his cockiness. I knew you people from 1A had cheat quirks, but you are the most broken. You shouldn't be here, am I right? You are. Asterisk crack. You don't even look like a hero. Hitoshi hadn't even realized he hadn't formulated a question, but just a statement. But it was too late. I was already in front of him, looking down on him with two broken fingers. He was trembling. He had seen what I did, how I resembled more a villain than a human being, my strength, my power. But I wasn't only that. You have a really cool quirk. I will try talking with my teacher to let you on the hero course. He froze. Tears had actually started forming in his eyes, both from fear and happiness of someone calling his quirk cool. I never had the intention of fighting him. He was just a broken kid who had too much to lose and too little to win. He was about to speak again, but I flickered his forehead and made him faint on the spot. Izuku Midoriya wins. I let the paramedics take Hitoshi away while I walk out of the arena to readjust my fingers. Only to find an angry recovery girl. You seriously broke your fingers? How do you know? I knew you would have pulled a stupid stunt, so I was ready to heal you the instant you got out, but it seems you already did a good job. Yep, I told you, I am quite good at first aid, I said while showing my two previously broken fingers moving. She still told me to get down to see if I had put the bones in the right position, and just to be sure, she decided to kiss my hand to bones heal faster. Moving towards the area where the rest of 1A was, I sat on one of the chairs to wait for my next match. What even was his quirk, to begin with? Suya asks after approaching me. Some kind of brainwash that activates after answering a question. Quite good for hostage situations. I think he should be on the hero course. I can see why you say that, Midoriya, Ida says from a nearby chair. Unfortunately, Nisa's entrance exam is too focused on flashy quirks. Flashy? Aoyama says after appearing out of nowhere. Not that type of flashy, Kaminari says to the sparkling kid. Aoyama moves away with a sad expression. I look at his back for a few seconds but decide to deal with him later. He is already living a hard moment. I don't rat him out right now, maybe there won't ever be a need to. Not having much to do while waiting, I decided to do some spins. You have used 10 normal spins. You have gained X1 familiar summon. Ideas for summons? Training clothes. If used during training, the user can willingly think of the weight of the clothes, and they will change according to the user's wish. Has no recorded limit. Artificer class. Engineer class. Gallifreyan engraving book. Frostblade blueprint. Warhammer 40k. Level up function. From now you will be able to level up through XP, and gain 5 status points that you can invest however you prefer. Class function will be affected by losing its stats speed upgrade function. It will instead reward determined status points every level up. They will also gain a level up limit once they are removed from the current class, but their tree won't removed from the tree selection. Until current classes are maxed, no new classes can be bought. Production classes will be differentiated by fighting classes. Because of the power unlocked thanks to this function, every world visited through the system will be scaled based on host power. Class level ups will be different from normal level ups. X3 Senza Beans. I think I just came in my pants. Info. Name, Izuku Midoriya. Age 17. Race, human. LV.1. Class, Guardian 0 out of 100. Berserker 0 out of 100. Avenger 0 out of 100. Martial Brawler 0 out of 100. Runic Warrior 0 out of 100, Edge Runner 0 out of 100, each class gains 1/6 of the XP. Status points 0. Guardian 0/100. Each level up will reward a +1 in End and STR. Berserker 0 out of 100. Each level up will reward a +1 in STR and will. Avenger. Each level up will reward a +1 in End and STR. Martial Brawler 0 out of 100. Each level up will reward a +1 in STR and Agi. Runic Warrior 0 out of 100. Each level up will reward a +1 in Will and Dex. Edge Runner 0/100. Each level up will reward a +1 in Int and Agi. I did. Chapter 54. Choose one production class. Production class XP can only be gained by using skills related to the class. Current available classes. Artist 0 of 100. God created everything with his imagination. An artist has the job to go beyond God's imagination. Engineer 0/100. Your job is to create machines that go beyond humans' comprehension only with your imagination and hands. Artificer 0/100. Through magic and craftsmanship, you can create objects that are able to fulfill your wildest dreams. Okay, artist is out of the way. It sounds cool, but I don't see how it can help me. As much as artificer would be my choice, I am in a world without magic and I have zero knowledge of it. Artificer might help with it, but his world magic is different from what I guess the artificer works with, so it only leaves engineer. I clicked on the engineer class and received a new skill, a new class tree, and new bonuses for class level ups. Engineer 0/100. Every level up gives +1 int and dex. New skills, Engineering LV.1. Engineering LV.1 represents your ability to represent your imagination through machines. Every level up boosts imagination regarding engineering projects and the quality of the final products by skill LV%. I also checked the engineer class tree and noticed that there weren't a lot of skills, and the ones present were all focused on helping me build things. I stopped myself from buying any skill for now and instead waited for my turn. I wanted to check everything else I gained through the gacha, but I was surrounded by people, and explaining a book appearing out of nowhere could be quite hard. Next match. Izuku Midoriya vs Shoto Todoroki. An ear-piercing scream spread everywhere in the stadium. They had seen what I could do, and they had also seen what Shoto could do. The mere thought of having us fighting each other made me tremble with excitement. Sighing because of the bloodlusting people, I start walking towards the arena, hearing some of my classmates say some words of encouragement. After I had gotten up, started calming down my nerves, making as much air as I could go to my lunges. If my plans went right, in a few minutes the air would become quite unbreathable. Todoroki is there, ice already starting to produce from his hands, but still no fire. Start! A wall of ice appeared in front of me. I immediately activated every single stats boosting skill and the tier skill, using my hands, which were also boosted by using one for all at 5%. This way it wouldn't show too much, to tear right through the ice wall. For the outsiders, the only thing they could see was Izuku getting overwhelmed by the ice and then only the sound of something constantly breaking. Shoto waited for something to happen, and something did happen. Two hands popped out of the ice, creating a big enough hole to let a human go through. Stepping out of the wall, I dashed in front of Shoto. Not letting him do anything, I grabbed his arm and threw him against the ice wall. He was able to recuperate in midair by using his ice to create a slide, directly aimed towards me. Just as he was about to smash against my body, he created another wall of ice. This time much smaller, but with sharper spikes to try and injure me enough that I had to give up. Unfortunately for him, injuries never stopped me. While 4 spikes were able to pierce my skin, they stopped right there, not able to go even 1 centimeter deep because of my flexing muscles. Breaking one of the spikes, I smashed it against Shoto's body, sending once again the ice wall he had created at the start of the match. "You will lose," I told him with a smug smile. "Shut up," he said while slowly getting him and holding his arm. "Here I am putting everything on the line, while you simply hold back." ISA dash. "Who the fuck do you think you are?" I shouted while using the shout skill to make my point clear. Having a higher control over your soul makes using skills control much easier. My voice made everyone tremble. The one too near even had their bones tremble because of the strength behind the shout. "You have your quirk, your daddy has another quirk, and you two are 2 different human beings, if I can even call him that. So unless you don't want to lose because of your fucking stupidity, I suggest start trying to roast my ass." While his mind started trying to process my words, I started preparing something. Taking a big breath and holding the air inside my lunges, I started spreading my legs, the left behind and the right in the front, my left placed in front of me like a gun sight, my right hand resting on my side ready to be used. I had my eyes closed for 5 seconds, feeling every muscle in my body contract, every bone tremble, every nerve fill with raw energy. Shoto finally snapped back to reality, and to everyone's surprise apart from ice a new element covered his body. "Fine," he said while starting to create fire. I opened my eyes, and a strange sparkle filled them. "Let's see you trying to stop this." A human being can do few things against the elements. An ice wall can easily pierce human organs and slowly kill him, while fire can burn any part of the human, slowly turning him into nothing more than ashes. But from the moment I arrived in this world, I decided to become something more than human. 10 meters. I decided to show the world who I truly am and that my training wasn't for nothing. 5 meters. To prove a point to the world and become powerful enough to stand on my own 2 feet. 1 meter. Holy strike plus 1 inch plus all for 145% equals pure destruction. Everything disappeared, and for a second no sound was heard in the arena. The only thing that had happened was the disappearance of the ice and fire. And then it hit like a fucking truck right in the face. A sonic boom. I was able to create a sonic boom. The skin of my right arm had already cracked, my nails had fallen off, the bones had cracked but didn't break, and every muscle on the arm snapped, creating quite a gruesome scenario. Shoto was there standing looking at me like I had just done the impossible. He was about to launch another attack, but he stopped when he saw me taking the same pose, readying another attack. He sighed while shaking his head and mumbled, "I lost." He walks out of the arena, shocking everyone present. Izuku Midoriya wins. Chapter 55. You have defeated a LV.45 evolved human. Plus 4500 XP. Main level up 1 equals 3. All main classes level up 0 equals 1. Feeling a small change in my whole made me finally understand the full potential of the level up function, the uselessness of training from now on, and the possibility of going to the limits placed by the human body. Having 10 status points to spend, I decided to use them on the hardest stats to raise, perception. I still haven't found a way to train it, so I might have to spend some points on it from now on. I placed all points on it. I felt all of my senses becoming sharper, especially my smelling and hearing ability. All of this happened while I was going down the stairs of the arena, and right at the end of them was a furious recovery girl and a worried 1A, even Bakugo. Maybe he just wanted to know I won't be able to fight the last match. She began berating me for my stupidity while checking my arm for any serious injury. The arm looked just taken out of a grinder, but that was it. My nails were repaired, my skin returned to normal, my muscles reattached, and the cracks on my bones disappeared, all thanks to a kiss from Recovery Girl and my monstrous regeneration. Moving my arm around to see if it could still be used, I thanked Recovery Girl and headed towards my seat in the 1A waiting area. But my rest didn't last long, because as soon as we were left alone, our favorite Pomeranian attacked. What the fuck was that? You have to be more specific, Bakugo. Not everyone's brain works like TNT. He wanted to attack me the moment I finished my words, but Ida stopped him and continued the questioning. I think what Bakugo wishes to ask is how you have become so strong after USJ. You had a very hard time against the Nomu, but now you could have dealt with him much easier. Silence fell in the room while I thought about my next steps very carefully. Should I tell them? I don't see why I shouldn't. You would be placing them in danger by explaining about One for All. Few people knew, and most of them died because of All for One. Yoichi said with a sad tone of voice. He was the first, and the one who had seen the most death out of the 7, so I can understand his point of view. I think you should. If I had told them about who I was, I wouldn't have placed my family in the situation they are right now. This time the one who spoke was Nana. The thoughts were conflicting about who thought I should, and who thought I shouldn't tell them. So? Bakugo asked with an irritated tone of voice, so the usual one. I sighed and got up from the chair I was sitting on, heading to the door. Where the fuck do you think you are going? Bakugo said while trying to dash towards with his explosions. Tried is the keyword. Before he could, I flicked towards his arm with a 5% boosted One for All, making him stumble and fall on the ground. He immediately got back up while holding his arm. Defeat me, and you might have the answer you wish for. Hate me, fear me, love me, I don't care. I would have loved to be friends with you all, but I can't. I didn't explain further and instead got out of the room. Young Midoriya, All Might said from outside after I had closed the door. It was for the best. You will be alone. I have been alone for all this time and I think got quite far. I said those words with a smile. But smiling was the last thing I wanted to do now. He looked at me, at my current form, how I was becoming him, this image of the perfect human being who didn't need anyone. I was becoming a symbol. But he didn't want this. Come with me, he said and buffed himself up while going inside the room. Don't tell me, Dash. I rushed inside the room to see everyone looking towards All Might and myself. I am sorry for having eavesdropped on you all, but considering how the fault of the current situation of young Midoriya is none other than mine, I think he deserves this. All Might, you don't have to do this. I can be fine by myself. He ignored my words and instead started explaining his quirk. At least he didn't show them his weakened state, or madness might have spread. And that's why young Midoriya is suddenly showing signs of quirks never shown before, and I will also take care of talking with your teachers regarding your situation. The air could be cut with a knife because of how heavy it had become. Everyone was either too stunned to speak or looking at me as if I had just become a god. One of the reasons why I didn't want to tell them was because of this. The fear of having the successor of All Might as a classmate will push them further away. That's so cool. Mina suddenly shouted from behind the crowd. She rushed towards me and hugged me while whispering, "If this is the reason why stop me, I don't care, I want to still be with you." She stopped hugging me and turned towards the class. "Guys, come on, this is still Izuku, the big old bear who would put himself in front of a bomb to save someone. He has just become a bit stronger, so what?" The second one to approach me was Kirishima, who asked if he could sometimes train with me to see how much strength he could withstand before his skin breaks. Slowly everyone started approaching, understanding that even thought I looked like a monster, even if I had the strength of a monster, even if I had the potential to become the most important person in the world. I was still only Izuku Midoriya. Chapter 56. Eventually, they calmed down, or at least weren't as scared/shocked as before and were able to return to their usual personalities. Now there was only a problem, Oyama. I turned towards where he previously was only to find nowhere to be found. I sighed, excusing myself and going out of the room. Using both my senses and the map function, I searched for the boy, finding him in a dark spot talking with someone on the phone. "Yes, Mom, I found him. I know something all for one will love, I dash." He stopped speaking when I appeared in front of him. Now imagine, a being you already knew you had no chance against, suddenly becoming the strongest being in a 100 kilometers area standing in front of you while you were trying to put him in danger. "I have to go." Aoyama hung up while her mother tried speaking. "Aoyama. And Midoriya, what are you doing here?" he asked, his whole body trembling. He was scared, not for himself, but for his mother, for his father, for the thing they had done to make him normal. "I know." Two simple words made the boy crumble. His whole world and lies just crushed against him, and a weight he didn't know he had until a moment before lifted from his body. I am not angry, believe me, I understand, I might be the one who understands the most in the whole world." His face started contracting, using everything he had to hold back the tears that had been storing up from the moment all of this had started. But could hold just so much. He fell to the ground continuously saying "I am sorry" like it was a mantra. I put a hand on his shoulder, both to comfort him and to make sure All for One wouldn't use that warping quirk. I take out my phone and dial Nizu's emergency number. He didn't answer, but in 2 minutes both Aizawa and Nizu were in front of me, Aizawa geared in his hero costume and Nizu in his favorite spot, Aizawa's scarf. "What happened?" Aizawa asked, concerned about Aoyama's current situation. "I think he should be the one talking. I am not in the spot to say anything." Aoyama looked at me and then at the duo. His face couldn't be paler at this point. Not wanting him to faint, I bought a skill from the Guardian tree called Guardian's Aura, which boosted the strength and morale of whoever I wanted to in a determined area. Feeling a bit more secure, he nodded towards me and got on his feet. "I am the traitor." For a second they didn't react, but as soon as Aizawa realized, he activated his quirk and tried to cover Aoyama with his scarf. But I stepped in front of him and grabbed it. He tried to move me out of the way, but due to my weight, he wasn't even able to make me stumble. "Izuku, would you kindly step out of the way?" Nizu asked while his animalistic aura started to show. Not before explaining the situation. And so I did. I told them about All Might, about the situation in the waiting area, and that I knew about All for One. I also told them about Aoyama's history, how he was quirkless, and how his parents tried to help him. How All for One forced Aoyama to do all this. "That surely changes things. Would you explain how you know all this?" I can't explain how I know Aoyama history, but I can show you this. And while staying in front of Aoyama, I produced 5 black tendrils from my fingers. Niza immediately reacted by jumping off of Aizawa and rushing towards me. He looked at them for a minute, and then looked at me. Is that what I think it is? I simply nodded, confusing Aizawa. Few knew the real power behind One for All. Niza was one of them apparently. Well, that changes things then. Previously I simply wanted to sponsor you, but now... Aoyama will be detained, but nothing will be done to his parents to not alarm All for One. If someone asks something, tell them he got hurt during the festival. I just hope we will have enough time. Regarding that, I might have a plan. Which is... Hitoshi Shinso has a quirk which makes him able to brainwash people. If we can make actually believe he knows nothing long enough to make All for One believe it, we will be able to save Aoyama and his family. Niza smiled at the idea. Small chuckles came out of his mouth, which then evolved into a full-blown maniacal laugh. I am so proud of you, Izuku. I nod while turning towards Aoyama to assure him everything will be alright. We will have to stop the festival, Aizawa said after seeing the back and front between me and Niza. Absolutely not. Both me and Niza said at the same time. Why not? Niza made it clear that I had to speak. Because that would attract even more attention. The festival didn't stop even after a villain attack directed at them, and they suddenly stopped after nothing happened? I can see what you mean, then we will continue like normal. I will also have a discussion with Shinso regarding your plan. His quirk might not be strong enough to convince All for One, but it will be strong enough to convince his parents, which will then never know the truth. Izuku Midoriya and Tenya Ida come to the stage. I guess that means it's time to put on a show so no one knows. They nod, and just as I was about to walk away, Aoyama grabbed my arm. Thank you, he said with tears in his eyes and a trembling voice. It's what heroes do, I told him with a big smile. While walking away from his perspective, my back looked like an indestructible big wall ready to protect him and everyone else. It looked like the back of an hero. Chapter 57. The fight against Ida went like everyone expected. I won and went to the final round. The fight, even though boring, rewarded me with a global level up, change from main level up, but no class level ups. Once again I placed all 5 points in boosting even more my already monstrous senses. After waiting for around 10 minutes, the final fight arrived. Me against Bakugo, the bully against the bullied. The moment I got on the stage, I could feel Bakugo's anger emanate from every inch of their body. Don't get me wrong, he is always angry, but now he had reached the level of anger never seen before. I guess discovering that the man you thought was weaker suddenly became the disciple of your idol must have done a number on his anger management skills. S dash. Before Mike could even finish the word, Bakugo had already propelled himself towards me, trying to outmaneuver the air gun, the thing I did with my fingers which can create air pressure towards enemies, strong enough to create a bruise on normal people. After he had gotten near enough, he moved his hands in front of himself, and used all the sweat he had saved up to create the biggest explosion he could muster. Take that, you fucking D-dash. How many times do I have to remind you I am not that weak anymore? I said while being behind him and placing a hand on his shoulder. He tried to move away, make me explode, punch me, kick me, he even bite my hand, but nothing worked. The bite had actually almost chipped his teeth. How many times do I have to remind you that you are not God? I activated intimidating presence. Because I am. Every atom in Bakugo's body was shouting at him to run away, to do everything in his power to save himself from the monstrosity holding him in place, but he couldn't. He tried and tried and tried, but nothing worked. He was even ready to leave his arm behind if it meant getting away from the monster. But nothing worked. He was useless. If he couldn't save himself, how could he save others? Does he even deserve to be a hero after everything he had done? Why was he here? Who was I fighting against? Question after question formed inside Bakugo's mind, and before he could permanently break, I deactivated intimidating presence and knocked him out. Well, that was anticlimactic. I thought he would have lasted some more. I let the medics take Bakugo away while I waited for the announcement. The winner of this year's sports festival is Izuku Midoriya. It started as some simple claps, then it became comparable to constant thunders, and by the end, it had become a full-blown tempest in everyone's ears. Asterisk, let's go, I won 1 million yen. Asterisk. Don't stick your dick in crazy. He is fucking hot. Have my babies. I absolutely ignored the last one and headed for the restroom. I had to once again change my clothes. I guess the finally can finally be called over. Never mind, I guess. You talked with the previous users? All Might asked me after having everyone leave the room to have a chat with me. I didn't answer him, and instead created a tendril of black energy that took a bottle of water for me. You have Black Whip, Izuku, that's fantastic. In less than a day you convinced one of the previous users to give you one of his quirks. That's not all, I said while taking a more serious tone. What do you mean? I know about All for One and his past. All Might looked at me for a long minute, and then sighed. I had hoped I had defeated him, but after what happened to Aoyama I guess it means it's all real. All for One is alive and trying to kill me. He still doesn't know about me, and with Shinso's help he won't know for a long time. I hope he doesn't have a brainwashing perception quirk or that kind of bullshit. Language? I rolled my eyes at his antics. How is? She is fine. She is telling me to tell you did a great job as a hero. A smile formed on All Might's face. He nodded and then headed outside, leaving me alone. Anyone else wishes to give me their quirk? I guess we will be second and third, Nana and Hikage said after a few seconds of silence. So now I can float and have another layer of defense from surprise attacks. Cool. 2 secondary effects of the perk 1 for all have been unlocked. Float. Float allows the user to levitate and suspend themselves in midair. With the added enhancement of the stockpiled energy from 1 for all, float becomes drastically more powerful, allowing the user to fly at high speeds. Danger sense. This quirk allows the user to detect any potential threats in the surrounding area, thus giving the user the opportunity to properly react to them quickly, similar to a sixth sense. The quirk is able to sense one's intent and their negative emotions. Against human enemies, danger sense is triggered by their intentions of threat and malice. Trying out float made me one of the happiest people in the world who doesn't wish to fly after all. I will have to try and combine this with Black Whip to launch myself against enemies as Izuku did in the anime. Finally free from this sports festival, it was time for the important thing. UE Sport Festival. Goal 1, place first on the run. Goal 2, don't get eliminated on the cavalry battle. Bonus Goal 1, place first on the cavalry battle. Goal 3, place first in the one-on-one fighting tournament. Bonus Goal 2, fight Todoroki at his maximum strength. Rewards, 500 tree points, 1 ticket, system function, 10 perk points, and 10 attribute gemstones. Bonus Reward 1, Night Class. Bonus Reward 2, Hanma Bloodline. Chapter 58. I forgot to mention that after defeating Bakugo he gained 5000 XP, which gave a global level up and 1 class level, and from now on class points have been removed because of the level up function, so whenever he has a free spot he can gain a new class. UE Sport Festival. Rewards, 500 tree points, 1 ticket, system function, 10 perk points, and 10 attribute gemstones. Bonus Reward 1, Night Class. Bonus Reward 2, Hanma Bloodline. Night Class has been added to the possible class selection. Night. Those who are deemed worthy by the Night Order will receive this class. Only those of pure heart and intention can wield this class to its full potential. Kites use their body as a weapon and their intentions as the light to guide people. Hanma Bloodline can be absorbed by the host's body wherever he wishes. Hanma Bloodline. Considered the strongest human bloodline to have ever existed, the Hanmas can't even be considered human due to their ability to transcend human limits and go beyond what can be considered human. Effects, body limiters removal. No need to buy perks that let him grow beyond certain stat walls. Stats amplification. The boost gained from each status point is amplified. For example, instead of gaining 1 kg for street, he gains 2 kilograms. Works with all stats that are directly connected to the body. Demon back. Contract all of your muscles in your back to gain a 20% boost to all physical stats. Improved physical stats growth. Absolute muscle control. Can use all muscles whenever he wishes to, if he do wishes, so he can stop his earth. Adrenaline shot. Can gives himself with an adrenaline shot to temporarily boost physical aspects and improve reflexes. Possible side effects. Eye color change, hair color change, battle lust can be centered due to high levels of willpower. I guess I know what I will do when I am home. Without much further to do, I received my prize as the sports festival winner and headed home, telling Yagi to tell me if there was any news about the Oyama situation. Wanting to get home as fast as possible, I used 1 for all and other stat booster skills to arrive home in 1 minute. Considering the school was 100 kilometers away, I had a speed of 1,667 meters per second, which was fast, and I hadn't even used other stats multipliers, or the new abilities from the Hanma Bloodline. Just by doing this run I had broken the sound barrier, burned most of my clothes, and got some nasty burn marks on my body which quickly healed after drinking a health potion. I was also sure to stop few km before my home, or it would have been destroyed by the sonic boom. I made sure to stop in a desolate area after stopping and received the sonic boom right in my back, dealing some damage, but nothing I couldn't tank. After it dissipated, I checked the rewards for the run and I gained a whole 15 levels in turbo, which meant that from now on I will start my movement with 46% of my maximum speed right from the start. I arrived home, and after assuring that everything was okay with my mother, I headed to my room and sat on the bed. Okay, first of all, I have been wanting to do this for quite some time. Gallifreyan Engraving Book. A book belonging to the one known as Time Lord, aliens known for their ability to bend the known rules of the universe to their own wish, and will through the use of technology, and their language. Required intelligence to fully understand the book, 10,000. The book can still be read, but with low levels of int almost nothing can be understood. Damn, guess this will be put on hold till I can actually understand what the hell I am reading. Next, I tried the training clothes, and after seeing how I could still hold easily with 100 kg on my body but my floor couldn't, I decided to stop and continue at a later moment. Lastly, use the familiar summoning ticket. You have used a familiar summoning ticket. Spinning. 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 Congratulations, you have summoned Bear Cub. You can place your summon inside a static space called familiar space whenever you wish. Is it karma? Yes, it is. Ignoring the range voice, I look at the black bear cub in front of me trying to get from his seated position. After getting on all fours, he looks around, and after realizing my presence, he wobbles towards and hugs my leg trying to climb it. With a melted heart, I picked him up, which resulted in him biting and licking my hand as a sign of affection. I placed the bear on my legs and played a bit with him. MHHH, how I name you? I will think of a name later on. For now, I continue playing with you. After 1 hour of playing with him, he finally got tired and fell asleep in my arms. I placed him on the bed and finally decided to absorb the Hanma bloodline. If it wasn't for my endurance and the skill juggernaut, I would be on the ground screaming because of the pain. Every muscle in my body reformed, changing to an atomic level. The same happened for my bones, nerves, brain, and organs. After 30 minutes of not moving and concentrating on the changes in my body, I felt like a new being. Heading to the bathroom, I checked for any physical change, and apart from looking stronger and hotter, I had no absolutely visible change. Lucky. And then I noticed a small red hint on the outer part of my eyes. Shit, let's hope it stays like that, and won't become fully red because I am angry like in some animes. Finally, having fulfilled every urge I had from the ticket rewards, I decided to ask Nizu if he could give me a spot in one of the rooms where the support course created their equipment. While he responded, I also checked for any nearby dungeon to grind my levels. I have become this strong, but I still have so much to do. Well, you know what they say, there is no rest for the wicked. Chapter 59. I decided to use the perk points and attribute stones I had received while taking a shower. I had seen some nice perks that could be really useful. In the end, I decided to buy the last stage for toughness and an agi-based perk that could solve a problem I had just encountered. Toughness X5/5 50% physical damage reduction 5 perk points. Basic speedster body, agi 150, speed above 340 meters per second, 5 perk points. Your body has been tempered by the speed force so that it won't receive any damage when running too fast and works up to a certain limit. Will plus 15. Wisp plus 33. Per plus 11. Dex plus 42. STR plus 12. Int plus 12. Cha plus 18. Agi plus 16. Number 1 title has reached the needed requirements for upgrade twice. Number 1 3. Plus 15 STR, plus 15 Cha. Upgrade requirements, 1452/10,000. As usual, the surge of power coming from the attribute stones made me happier than before, and the upgrade of my title also did. This removes the possibility of burning myself ever again, though I will need to create some clothes able to resist those speeds. After I finished showing, I received a message from Niza telling me that Aoyama's situation had been dealt with, and yes, I could come to UA whenever I wished to use the support course lab rooms whenever I wanted. Okay, that removes one problem. The only remaining one is actually getting good materials to create equipment. But I settled that objective aside. Even though this world has no magical materials, it is still advanced enough to have some pretty hard and usable stuff. Suddenly I received a message from All Might, which was unexpected. Young Midoriya, I heard from Niza that you are trying to learn how to create your own equipment, am I right? Yeah, I have been feeling kind of bad for the support team for the number of times I have had to send them my hero costume, so I wanted to try and create my own. Asterisk, if you want I can try and contact someone who might be able to help you learn pretty quickly. Asterisk. Asterisk, that would be cool, thanks. Asterisk. Asterisk, no problem. Asterisk, he said while sending an all might smiling emoji. I placed the phone down and tried to decide what I should do with the rest of my day. The next important will happen in a week. I can easily fight Stain. He has a body above human standards, but his quirk will most likely not have any effect on me, and I can easily overpower him. The most problematic event will be Noma's attack and the damage they will cause. Unless... System, will time stop when I go to another world? If the user uses a permanent travel ticket, then time won't stop. But if the user uses a time-set travel ticket, then yes, time will stop on the previous world. Happy with what I had just read, I placed Bjorn, yes, I named my bear cub Bear, in the familiar space, and headed to the nearest electronics store. Now, although electronics didn't seem as advanced as Cyberpunk 2077, we still had advanced quite a lot. We are in the middle of the 2100s, so even a normal USB has a space of 10 petabytes and a download speed of 100 terabytes per second. I placed the USB inside my space ring, with some other things as well, and tore the Game World ticket. You have used the Gamer World ticket. The world has been chosen based on the host's current wish. Cyberpunk 2077. Timeline: the year 2076, a few seconds before Rebecca's death. Quest: Goal 1. Save Rebecca from being crushed by Smasher. Goal 2. Help Lucy escape. Goal 3. Prevent David from falling into cyberpsychosis. Bonus goal: Smash Atom Smasher. Reward 1. Rookie Hero Title Upgrade, Guts. Reward 2. The USB in the host's possession will be filled with all Arasaka's tower knowledge and blueprints. Reward 3. David's Jacket. Bonus reward: Smasher Modifications Blueprints, Jichu Maru. Time limit: 24 hours. Events change during this mission will cause changes in future timelines. The world has been scaled based on the current host's strength. Before I even reacted, everything around me changed. Like a sudden cut in a movie, from my room I suddenly found myself in a completely different place. The smell of smog, metal, gunpowder, and blood filled the air. Skyscrapers as tall as titans were all around me, but what was important was right in front of me. A man made of metal was falling at an alarming speed towards a small girl trying to protect herself with a shotgun, but it was all useless. The man was like an unstoppable force ready to hit a very movable wall. Unfortunately for him, he had met with an unmovable wall this time. Activating every single stat boosting effect just to be sure, I used instant movement to appear right next to Rebecca and raised both of my arms to stop Smasher's fall. No one expected it, and no one even had actually seen me arrive. Like a ghost I had appeared and done something thought impossible: stop Smasher. He raised his arms while they turned to miniguns and tried to shoot me down, but before he could I had already thrown him away against a wall with enough strength to destroy a house. Unless you don't want to become a pancake, I suggest you go away. Who the fuck are you? She asked while raising her gun to my head. Me? Oh, you will see, I said while ignoring the shotgun. The worst it could do was damage my eyes for a few seconds. I turned to the Unchas Smayer with a smile. It has been since I was able to go at max output. If you want to fight, then I will give you one, I said while a demonic smile formed on my face. Right on track. Perk activated. Chosen song, AMV Lil Darky. Effects: personification of one-man army. You are the absolute soldier. Every instinct regarding fighting has been amplified 100 times. Absolute enemy. Every person you consider an enemy will feel fear, heal 50% slower, and lose some of their fighting ability. Every single muscle in my body flexed, and my shirt tore apart because of the mere magnitude of strength behind them. A demonic face formed on my back. Those who looked at it felt as if a demon was staring at them, and even their bones trembled. A dark aura started being produced by my body, fighting spirit, while green lightning spread along all my body and red lines covered my muscles and my face. Runes also appeared on my chest and hands. Holy energy covered my fists. Every ally felt safe. Better thanks to Guardian's aura, and every enemy felt something different. They had angered a monster who was hunting them. Smasher started firing missiles and shooting me down. Most bullets were only able to pierce part of my muscles, while the missiles at most cracked the bones of the part they had hit. But just like a tank, I resisted every hit, while moving towards the big group of enemies shooting with the same intensity of Smasher. Like a monster in human skin, a monstrous shout came from my mouth, stunning almost everyone and making them fall unconscious. 10 tendrils came out of my hands. Using my control over them, I shaped and covered them in holy energy, and one for all, and used them like whips to strike down the big group in front of me. I had become a reaper in the middle of this battleground, a god for my allies, and a monster for my enemies. And the biggest enemy of them all was trying to run away. Smasher used his enormous body to try and jump from building to building, but I was on his ass. While he had jumped, I appeared right above him, and I used Stomp, using his body as the floor. Asterisk boom. The floor cracked for a good 5 kilometers, but he was still alive and trying to escape. His arms were missing, and his whole body had been cracked beyond recognition, but he was still trying to move, to escape, to live. But it was too late. I appeared right behind him, and I used a hand to pierce his torso. When it came out on the other side, what looked like a metal-covered heart was on my hand. I looked at him trying to get his heart back, but the last thing he saw was the heart exploding on my hand and coming closer to his head. Using Tur, I started pulling, and in less than 10 seconds his head and spine got detached from his body. As a last sign of disrespect, I made the head explode by crushing it and destroying anything that resembled a memory card, removing the possibility of him returning to this world. Having dealt with the big bad boss, I had only the mob left to kill, which thanks to the use of Black Whip didn't take long. I was covered in bullet holes and had some bones cracked in several points, so wanting to test them out, I took out the infinite healing cigarettes and put one in my mouth, only to realize I had no way to turn it on. Hey chum! I turned towards the voice to see a group of people looking at me with strange stares. I deactivated all my stat boosting effects, only now realizing my hair had been up this whole time, and pointed at my cigarette. Anyone has a lighter? Lucy throws a smoker in my direction. I easily catch it and turn on the cigarette. It tasted like mint and made everything feel better. My bones started healing, my muscles repaired, and my skin was also closing the holes that had formed. While I was smoking, they continued looking at me, some wondering if they should aim their guns, only to remember I had resisted a missile from Smasher. What in the Nova's name was that? David finally spoke after feeling a bit too restless. That was me saving all of your asses. Well, not Lucy's, she would have been the only one who would have survived considering who she is. I turned towards Rebecca. Your first thought when seeing a man made of metal fall on top of your head was to shoot at him. Fucking run away, idiot. She was about to retort but was stopped by David's hand. You should seriously get out of that big-ass skeleton. It will turn into a cyber psycho if you don't. I know, if this fight hadn't ended so soon I might have actually gone psycho. Thank you, Chum. He told me with a smile plastered on his face. No problem. But next time seriously think about what you should and shouldn't do. One thing, if you ever were to encounter a guy/girl named V, give him a hand. He is a chum that I know who needs it. He nodded, and just as he was about to speak, the world stopped. Congratulations on your first world mission. You have permanently changed the timeline of a world. Reward. Chapter 60. Congratulations on your first world mission. You have permanently changed the timeline of a world. Reward, +5 global levels, +2 class levels, Guts, Rookie Hero Title Upgrade, Cyberpunk 2077 USB, David's Jacket, Smasher Modification Blueprints, Jichu Maru. +25 Status Points. +8 STR. +4 End. +4 Will. +4 Agi. +2 Dex. +2 Int. Guts. This Carnage belonged to Rebecca. It has a unique modifier that changes its damage type to chemical and adds a chance to poison on hit. The Guts can be loaded with 8 shells that hold 20 pellets, modified to have unlimited ammo, but suffer from a massively increased recoil. The weapon's projectiles can ricochet up to 3 additional times. Effects: poison, multiple hits. When hitting an enemy, it has a 50% chance to hit the nearest enemy. After it will have a 25% to hit another enemy. Rookie Hero Title Upgrade. Hero Upgradable. +10 Will, Cha, and when helping others. David's Jacket. This jacket belonged to David Martinez, a famous edge runner of Night City. It was originally an emergency medical technician, EMT, jacket owned by David's mother, Gloria. After she passed away, David began to wear it. Inspired by the projected logos on the back that Lucy tested while tinkering with the jacket, David eventually painted a logo on the cloth's back. Effects: Ghost in the Shell. When activated, you become invisible to all types of technologies. Indestructible. can't be damaged in any way. Jinchumaru. This katana is the signature weapon of Sanday Oda. It is almost entirely black, with the Arasaka decal appearing to be placed on the blade rather than the hilt. It once belonged to Goro Takemura, who gifted it to Oda during his apprenticeship. Effects: crit amplifier, boost chances of dealing a crit on enemies. While I was looking at all the new equipment I gained, everything around me completely changed. From the technologically advanced world I found myself once again in my room, where the most technological thing was my computer. I summoned Bjorn and placed him once again in the bed, then I turned on my computer and checked the contents of the USB. What I noticed was how the USB I had bought disappeared, and in its place was this one, which had 1 exabyte of data. I don't even want to know how. I plunged the USB into the computer, and then used the calm powder personification skill to boost my information processing speed and study the information inside the USB much faster. While doing so, I bought one new skill. A new skill popped up. Engineer ILV.1. When looking at technological blueprints, you find it easier to understand and find possible errors in them. Every level boosts the effects. A sub-skill of the drawing skill has developed because of the engineer class. Blueprint creation LV.max. When an idea pops into your mind of a possible creation, you find it easier to create a blueprint for said creation. With the combination of the two, I started studying all the information inside the USB, and while some weren't as useful, like a chrome for the dick who turned it into a hydraulic press, or one that made your lips work like a vacuum, others were instead the epitome of biological engineering. Slowing down time, turning body parts into weapons, and organs being able to start working to reanimate someone after dying, were only some of the things inside the USB. While I was studying, I didn't notice the pop-ups for the level up of Engineer I, which had already reached level 4, and instead decided to create my first blueprint. Taking inspiration from the neural link, I created something similar, which instead of completely changing the structure of my hand would be on a subdermal level, thus covered by the skin and not visible to the naked eye, kind like the subdermal armor in the game. It took a while to create something that would work, but after 5 hours of trial after trial, Engineer I, currently at level 12, didn't catch any errors on the blueprint, or any possible way to upgrade it, at least for now, and rewarded me with a notification. You have created your first blueprint, plus 5 int. Subdermal neural link blueprint. Using the natural electricity coursing through your body, you are able to connect yourself to any type of technology through physical contact. Smiling at the discovery of a way to boost my int, I continued studying the knowledge inside the USB, and like that, time went on. Cool. I didn't notice the voice trying to call me. I was too focused on finding a way to merge Sandavistan with my spine, thus making it invisible to the naked eye. Izuku. The shout brought me back to reality. I turned towards my mom, who had Bjorn on her hands, not knowing what to do with him, while he was trying to lick her face. Why do you have a bear? Shit. Never, and I mean never, try to explain why you have a bear cub to your mother with a maximum level of acting and a brain faster than any normal human. The time it took to assure her I would be able to take care of the bear and that he wouldn't hurt either me or her, made me almost arrive late to class. Fortunately, I am a human being who can run much faster than sound and loves to go fast. Turbo LV.46 equals 49. I got inside UA grounds, and seeing it still intact made me realize that the plan to deceive Aoyama's parents, and all for one, had worked. I got inside the school and inside my class and saw everyone already seated with a piece of paper and a marker in hand. In front of the class was Midnight, who was looking at them with a smile. She noticed me and her smile became even wider. "Are you finally arrived? Come on, we are deciding on hero names before going on hero internships." "Oh right, a hero name, shit. Suggestions?"
Akira here. This is the end of part 3. If you enjoyed the story, we would appreciate it if you liked the video. Also, please support the original author for this amazing work. I have put their Patreon and the web novel link in the description. Thank you and have a great day.